Today we're going to learn how to make a varied shade tree. So we're going to be working on a pine tree that will have some darks and lights and different tones and hues of green. We will begin on a fairly dry surface. This is still slightly wet, but it won't hurt anything to begin. Wet down a medium-sized brush, and we will begin with the lighter color. So I'm going to take my lighter green, mix it with some water, and when I lay down the shape of the tree, I'm keeping a very light touch. I'm not holding my brush as if it were a pencil or a pen. I'm holding it very lightly like this so that I can get sort of a soft or natural look. So this represents the lightest. It's easier to place your lighter colors first when you're doing watercolor in most cases. And notice that I'm trying to keep it natural, staying away from a totally symmetrical shape. And I can do another smaller one in the distance. I can make this look like it's way behind here by making it smaller, but also making it higher on the paper, because that will make it look like it's in the background. The snowman is the foreground, this is the middle ground, this tree is the background. So this bottom of paper, middle of paper, closer to the top. Now I'm going to give my brush a good rinse because I'm going to start coming in with some more medium green tones. So I'm going to dip into this shade of green, which is called Viridian. It's got a touch of blue in it, which is nice for a pine. And then I may be even adding a little bit of black, and I can add more black later if necessary. And perhaps I'll mix a little bit of green too. And I'm going to start coming in near the bottom of each of these areas of branches. I want to leave the top because that shows where the light is hitting the tree. I'm making some shadows to make the tree look more realistic. I'm also focused on the texture of the tree, making sure I'm not doing any sweeping movements. It's just lightly touching the brush. At this point I can start working in some darker tones as dots to give it some texture. Maybe I'll put a little more blue in it this time and more black. My watercolor is still wet, so it'll look a little fuzzier as I go here. Right now I'm doing some detail work that's going to show the texture of the needles. So my brush is almost dry. A lot of pigment, not much water on it. I'm just dabbing, adding some details to the outer edges. And while I'm at it, I'm going to come in, and sometimes things that are in the distance don't have quite as much detail, but I do want to get those shadows in there. Now I need to think about my background and the snow. So what I'd like to do is start taking some of the colors that would look not quite white, but almost, and bringing them around my snowman. I want my snowman to be able to stand out from the snow that is behind it. So I want to take a lighter tone, but it needs to be not pure white. And perhaps I'll come in with this cooler blue here. We can test it out and see. That's probably about right. Remember, you can always grab a sheet of printer paper if you want to check out what a color will look like on paper. It can be a little tricky to predict. Oops. I'm going to come into the background wherever I like to define it. However, I don't want to color in or paint in too much because it still should look like snow. Right there. Just get something off the printer. And that's it for today. Thank you.